What if I told you there is an object sitting on a forgotten desk somewhere that can outlive you? What if this object is a pen? Not a fancy fountain pen, not a disposable plastic stick. This is something else entirely. A pen that can write non-stop for 100 years. It sounds impossible, does it not? A century of writing. That is over 36,500 days of continuous ink flow. Think about that. You could write a novel every single year for the rest of your life. Your children could do the same, and their children after them, all with the same single pen. The physics of it just does not seem to add up. We live in a world of planned obsolescence. Our phones die. Our cars break down. Even our most cherished possessions eventually fade and crumble. Entropy always wins. Yet this pen seems to defy that very law. The story begins not in a modern laboratory, but in the chaos of post-war Europe. The year is 1948. A Swiss watchmaker named Elias became obsessed with permanence, creating something that would endure beyond wars and lifetimes. He was a humble artisan, a master of gears and springs, aiming for a pen that would never need a refill, a pen that would write for a century. But ink is a liquid. It flows, it dries, it gets used up. He spent years in his small workshop in the Alps, testing crushed minerals and synthetic oils. Early prototypes were failures. Some leaked disastrously, others dried up within hours. His dream was dissolving like ink on a wet page. Then a strange package arrived from a geologist exploring the Ural Mountains. Inside a lead-lined box, a vial of shimmering silvery liquid. It was not mercury, heavy like liquid metal, yet it flowed as smoothly as water. The note read, "Elias, I believe this is the permanence you seek. Be careful." It did not evaporate. It did not freeze in the cold mountain air. On paper, the line was crisp, dark, and instantly dry. He calculated volumes and consumption. The numbers were staggering. Tiny amount in the vial seemed to go on forever, like an infinite ink, a substance that could replicate itself or flow with near zero loss. The secret of the 100-year pen was in the ink itself. It is not ink in any traditional sense. No simple pigment or dye in water or alcohol. It is a stable, colloidal suspension of metallic nanoparticles in a synthetic, non-volatile oil. Think of a river of microscopic metal flakes that bond to paper fibers. Less like painting, more like micro-welding a line onto the page. Allegedly an alloy of iridium and a stabilized, non-radioactive promethium isotope. Dense, rare, almost mythical. As the fluid passes the tip, a tiny electrical charge, generated by your hand, polarizes particles to fuse with cellulose, using infinitesimal amounts per word. How can just a few milliliters last 100 years? Volume is not the secret. Efficiency is. A ballpoint might use 25 milligrams per kilometer. This uses nanograms. If the ink is the pen's blood, the nib is its soul. Normal nibs wear down. Friction is relentless. A century of writing demands a nib that laughs at friction. The Centennial pen's nib is a synthetic black diamond, carbonado, polycrystalline, astonishingly tough. Elias reportedly partnered with laser specialists to ablate a microscopic channel, less than a micron, through which the metallic ink flows. Too large, it leaks. Too small, it clogs. The precision is astronomical. A piezoelectric valve flexes under writing pressure, generating voltage to open just enough fluid. No batteries required. The pen is powered by the act of writing. After perfecting his prototype in 1950, Elias met silence and fear. A pen you buy once is too disruptive for an industry built on disposability and refills. He was dismissed as a crackpot, or worse, a threat. He made fewer than a dozen, a few to friends and family, sworn to secrecy. The rest he kept, along with notebooks, formulas, schematics, research, locked in a safe. He feared theft or burial by corporate interests. His diary, written with an ordinary pen, claimed he felt watched. One winter morning in 1952, Elias was gone, workshop ransacked, the safe blown open, pens and notebooks missing, no money taken, nothing of conventional value, only the pens and the research. The case went nowhere. Elias was never seen again. The remaining pens are silent artifacts of a genius erased from history. 1968. A salvage team recovers a watertight container from a private research submarine off Japan. Inside, a pristine logbook and a single heavy pen. After 10 years, under crushing pressure and salt water, the pen looked brand new. The skeptic uncapped it and wrote, perfectly. It survived conditions that should have destroyed it. How? Perfect equilibrium in a sealed recycling system? A miracle of radical design? Returned to the family, the pen disappeared into a private collection. Proof, yet deeper mystery. What other impossible feats is it capable of? Let us revisit the core, the metallic ink. The legend speaks of a rare promethium isotope with iridium. Iridium, dense, corrosion-resistant, scarce on Earth, abundant in meteorites. The iridium layer marks the asteroid that ended the dinosaurs. Star stuff. What if the substance came from an impact site in the Urals, a cavern formed by a metallic meteorite rich in exotic elements? Then, the Centennial Pen is not just human ingenuity, but a piece of the cosmos, harnessed for writing. You would not just be writing with a pen, you would be writing with the dust of a long-dead star. One whisper claims a gifted philosopher felt the pen guide his hand, words flowing with unnatural smoothness. He tested it. The pen began to move, forming elegant, profound sentences in a handwriting not his own. He became convinced the metallic ink was a medium, encoding more than marks on paper. Information, consciousness. If electrobonding fuses metal to fibers, could it also encode a user's thoughts and, under the right conditions, play them back to a future hand? Imagine a pen that absorbs ideas and knowledge from every writer, a living library that accumulates wisdom. The industrialist, the philosopher, Elias himself, imprinted in that silvery fluid. Is it a simple tool, a marvel of science, or something more, blurring the line between object, organism, technology, and life? The answer remains hidden, locked inside the few precious pens that still exist. The mystery is far from over. In fact, it may have just begun. What do you think? Is this a feat of lost science or something more? Join the conversation below. Share your theories, like this story if it made you wonder, and subscribe for more journeys into the unknown. The universe is full of secrets, some of them small enough to fit in your pocket.